Let me take you back to a point that you raised there, because it was under Dr. Rupiah Banda's regime that the late Dr. Frederick Chiluba's perceived political persecution came to an end. And as someone who was close to the latter, what kind of picture do you think this also painted for Dr. Rupiah Banda? Because he even made mention of this, saying there's nothing wrong with treating a human being like a human being.
He took a great political risk. You should remember this is 2008. And remember his predecessor, President Levi Mwanawasa, had pursued Dr. Chiluba relentlessly, those corruption allegations. And during the 90-day period, of campaigning after the late President Mwanawasa died, President Rupiah Banda was holding a huge rally in Mansa. And then he talked about President Chiluba. He said that son of this area is a son of Zambia, son of Africa, distinguished gentleman. And he said all the benefits we've accrued as a government have come from the foundation that President Chiluba laid. He recognized it was in campaigns. And the strongest candidate was President Michael Sata. And, the newspapers like the Post at the time took him to task for such a statement that is being cozy with the corrupt, and he took a political risk. And something we saw even in President Edgar Lungu, who said we need to respect our former leaders. Our former heads of states are an asset to us. We shouldn't treat them as political enemies and as political opponents. So that's a path that President Rupiah Banda took at his own risk. And you saw that in 2008, after working with the Patriotic Front for a period of 8 years, President Chiluba switched from the PF, a party had helped grow tremendously. It had become the largest opposition party, displacing the UPND, but he chose to switch because of just the political risk that President Rupiah Banda took. I think President Rupiah Banda allowed a free atmosphere for justice to prevail. When there's an oppressive atmosphere where the head of state wants his political opponents to be jailed, you are oppressing the environment of justice to prevail, because some law enforcement agencies might act to please the president than to please the cause of justice. So he just freed the environment. Did he help President Chiluba get an acquittal? In my view, he just allowed the professional environment to excel and allow facts and justice to prevail under those conditions. Sometimes the heads of states don't understand that when they pick a matter and try people in newspapers, they create such a big burden. And the magistrate can say in public interest, I don't understand the facts before you, but in public interest, you should be jailed. And that's at the detriment of justice. So
and almost contrary to what he stood for, even through letting the process be handled professionally for the late Frederick Chiluba. In 2011, he had to experience a similar journey as the late Frederick Chiluba when he now started having court cases and court appearances after his immunity was lifted. And you can only imagine how he felt despite what he believed in, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I had done an article in April 2011. Remember, we're going to elections in September. And an article I'd done, I predicted that the Patriotic Front would win elections. Now, I had that conversation with President Rupiah Banda when he came home to Dr. Chiluba's home. But my contention was, he is a good man. First, very good, affable man. The economy is doing very well. He had foreign reserves of $4.5 billion. The price of milling was fair. Exchange rate was stable. Zambia had just migrated to a lower middle income from a highly indebted poor country. And we're now among countries, about 10 of them in Africa, who had become low middle income countries. And an economy was doing well. He was rolling out infrastructure development, and he was targeting these UN development goals. On paper, he was such a good candidate. But I'd criticized that first MMD had gotten tired. It was 20 years in office. So it doesn't matter what the state of the economy was. It doesn't matter how good President Rupiah Banda was. And I predicted that he would lose an election. And it came to be. It came to pass. And the magnanimity of the man is that, like I said, he had the good economy going, infrastructure development rolling out, but he lost the elections. And he respected the will of Zambians. He recognized collectively they were far wiser than anybody in any institution. And you saw that one of the reasons he was highly respected is, as an incumbent, he handed over power to an opposition leader. And I've always said this is something very rare in Africa. And in Zambia, we've done it 3 times. With President Kaunda handing over to Dr. Chiluba, with President Rupiah Banda handing over to Michael Sata, and with President Edgar Lungu handing over to President Hakainde Hichilema. It's a hallmark that Zambia stands out for. And it's people like President Rupiah Banda that have made it possible for this country to have such a good reputation.
It's still on Dr. Rupiah Banda, and as we conclude, we are still in this time of national mourning for him. But yesterday, the attention was seemingly shared with the news of the Patriotic Front members of Parliament who have been suspended for 30 days. What do you make also the timing of this news?
I called that decision careless, extremely careless. The Speaker, first of all, could have acted with restraint. Many people don't know that the power lies not in the exercise of power, but in the restraint of power. The Speaker should have, Office of the Speaker, the Presidium, should have held that decision maybe until after burial. It could have been passed next week. Secondly, this is a presidium of speakers that appear to be preoccupied with dress code, with decorum, and I wonder if they watch other parliaments. Parliaments are extremely robust. You have to allow substance of debate. Sometimes people bang tables, stand on tables to make a point, because this is a people's parliament, and sometimes debate is heavy. So to worry that we should behave in a certain manner, dress in a certain manner, than the quality of debate, for me, just thinks that this parliament is being taken far back. We worry if someone is wearing a scarf, which is not even African. We worry about, even the dress code itself is out of date. It doesn't even respond to who we are as Africans, who we are as Zambians. And that's what that parliament seems to be preoccupied with. And the ruling of the 30 MPs that they had protested, instead of walking out, they stood before the mess, and the speakers found it to be dishonorable conduct and conducted a walk of shame. For me, it just takes away from this democracy. I don't know if people understand what freedom of expression is. I don't know if people understand what freedom of and conscience, to hold a strong view and hold it. And I don't understand if people know that you ought to tolerate. Remember, I think it's Jefferson who said, I might not like your idea, I might not like your view, but I'll die defending it for you to say it. That should be our attitude. That's what democracy is. But you have a parliament that is preoccupied with dress codes, with in my view, extremely petty issues. The matter that was before you wind up, the matter that was there was a constitutional matter. Here is a budget, national budget being presented, citing an authority that didn't exist. It was a constitutional matter. And our MPs merely tried to correct that if we pass this budget in this manner, it will be unconstitutional. It even stands to be, challenged in court. And of course, the executive later changed and cited proper authorities. So what did the MPs do? Dishonorable conduct, because they are protesting, and the right to protest is one of the fundamental rights. So that decorum for me should be, they should learn from other parliaments. I don't know if they've watched the South African parliament.
Ambassador Mwamba, before I let you go, on a lighter note, yesterday I was speaking to Dr. Emmanuel Mwamba. I was finding out from him if he's preparing any powder for this period. But I'd like to find out from you, because now there's conversations coming up that the Ichimbuya is now overdone. It's being done too much, and now even being banned at the funeral house. How do you feel about
I heard the spokesperson for the RB family, Honorable Fisher Mwale, says he has banned Chimweka and will not allow powder. I've got a big Johnson powder for Honorable Fisher Mwale. And from here, I'm going to look for Honorable Fisher Mwale.
Ambassador Mwamba, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. All right, we'll be joined by the former ambassador, Zambia's ambassador to Ethiopia, and also permanent representative to the African Union, Emmanuel Mwamba, looking at the life of Dr. Rupiah Banda in diplomatic service.